Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Pleasure Priority Podcast with me, Amber Taylor. This is the podcast all about how you can have the audacity to put yourself and your pleasure first, which ultimately shapes a life perfect for you. We discuss friends and family, career and money, oppression, healing, and mental health, current events, and historical ones too. Basically, all things life and pleasure and how you can create more of it authentically. I'm your host, Amber Taylor, and it's my pleasure to talk to you every week. Let's tune in. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in a minute, but I was traveling for a week or so, maybe 10 days at this point. Who knows? Time's weird. But I'm back and I have so much to share. So I just spent a little over a week in New York for business and for pleasure, but y'all know me, it was mostly pleasure. Um, but I went to see some family. I spent 3 days with my mastermind, an amazing group of women who are out here changing the world and making a lot of fucking money doing it. And I wanted to kind of share a couple of the experiences that I had while being surrounded by these amazing women and what I learned and what I want to offer y'all. So we did a lot. It was jam-packed. One thing about that group is we are not going to be in any type of classroom, conference room, or whatever. We get our lessons out in the world. And one of the things that we did was, I'm trying to think about which one I want to talk about first. There are so many amazing ones, but I think I'll just go with whatever comes up. But we created our own perfumes, our own signature scents at this pretty cool place called Olfactory NYC. And we went in and had no idea what to expect. But we walked in and the vibe was there. We had a little private room in the back and just endless options everywhere. So our first task was to pick a base scent that we loved and that we were attracted to. And I took this, as I do everything, a little bit serious, and I wanted to create something right. Like I wanted to do it well. And this experience so beautifully illuminated that there is no right way or a wrong way. It's really just what you're called to. So they had this wall of scents matched with colors, and I just walked the wall up and down, back and forth, and was just honestly reading the names and looking at the colors and seeing what I gravitated towards the most. They had little blurbs on there about what that particular scent meant, what scents were included in it, who the designer of that scent was, what other scents that they had created out in the world, and a lot of information. I wasn't looking at any of it. I walked the wall and expected to be attracted to the dark blues, the purples, my vibe. And I wasn't. I walked right past it and I landed on the red one. And when I got to the red one, I sprayed the scent on the little paper things and I fell in love with it. Literally sniffed it and was like, holy shit, this is the one for me. But then I second guessed myself. I was like, oh, well, this was only the first scent. So how could it be the right one? I haven't smelled the other scents, so there could be something better out there. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Shiny object syndrome? Well, yeah, I have it. So I proceeded to smell all of the other scents. still had the paper with the hunter on it. That's the name of it. And everything I smelled, some of them I was disgusted by, honestly. Some of them I couldn't even smell at all. Some of them I liked, but I didn't like as much. And I just like kept this going until I smelled all the scents. And then it was confirmed, or I was validated. Okay, my gut was right. I do like this first one the best, and I'm going to go with it. So then the second step in this process is to meet with one of the olfactory agents, the people that help create your scent, and they take your scent and they add other scents to it to create kind of this mixture, this palette for you. And they put it on a little smelling stick, and then you smell each of those and see which ones you like. So I was smelling all these new scents, these combination scents that would have created my own signature scent. And I could not find a single smell that I liked. I was getting anxious and nervous, like, oh my God, I'm going to be the only one that doesn't pick a scent. What am I doing? Like, why isn't this right? Why isn't it working? Why can't I just find something I like? And so I needed to take a break and just freshen my nose, freshen my smells, and think about it. And what I had got to in that moment was once I decided that that initial scent was for me, that was it. I was like, okay, this is the right one. And I can't deviate from this path. I have to be as close as possible to this original scent. And when he was adding the other scents, like it changed the original scent like drastically. Some of them were extra fruity, some of them were savory, some of them turned subtle, which really blew my mind because my initial scent was pretty bold. And adding something I never imagined would make it less. So that was interesting to me. But I was struggling to pick something because I didn't want to change. I didn't want to deviate from what I had already decided worked. And I think this plays out in life, in business, and relationships, and decisions, and everything. Because once we think we find something, once we think we find the thing that we like, find the thing that works, then we think that's it, that it can't get better, that we can't have more, that there can't possibly something else that we can like just as much, or if not more. So once I realized that I was genuinely just scared of the change, of the difference, I started, for lack of a better phrase, smelling things with a new nose. And I went back through all my options, and the olfactory agent told me, you can stick with the original scent. You don't have to change it. And I was like, nope, I'm creating my own scent. I don't want just something off the rack, off the wall. I want my own scent. And so once I made that declaration, I was like, oh, well, duh, then it has to change. And I, again, was smelling everything with a new nose and realized that I didn't really like the ones that he'd already created for me. So we kept going. And another lesson here is continue to ask for what you want, even if it may feel like you're being an inconvenience or it's hopeless or whatever. If you haven't found the right one, you haven't found the right one. So keep going. But we kept going. And he prefaced this one like, oh, I think you're really going to like this. There are a couple notes of citrus, but then also some vanilla undertones and whatever, all the things that he was saying. And I initially was like, oh my God, no, I'm not going to like that because citrus, no, that sounds like Bath and Body Works. And I did that when I was a kid. I'm grown now. This is a whole new thing. I'm not going to like that one. But then I smelled it and I was like, oh shit, I like it. But I didn't want to like it. I didn't want the thing that I had some kind of familiarity with, thing that I thought was beneath me in a sense, or I was past. How could that be the thing that I was moving towards? It had to be something new. It had to be something different. So I put that one to the side. I didn't reject it because I did like it, even though I didn't want to. But I kept smelling the other ones and kept going, kept going, kept going. And then eventually I narrowed it down to 4 potential scents. So the third phase in this process is to actually put those scents on your skin and then go outside and smell it on you, because the last ingredient of any perfume is the way that it mixes with your natural body, your natural oils, your natural scents. And it does change things. So he put all 4 on different parts of my hands and arms. I went outside and I started sniffing them. And lo and behold, the one that I hated or thought I would hate smelled so good, like actually delicious. Like I couldn't stop sniffing it, but I still was resisting liking it because I had that story in my head that it's not for me. I'm past that. So I narrowed it down to 2. And one was that strong, powerful, honestly, on my skin, it didn't even have the heavily citrus notes, but it was just very bold. And then the other one was pretty subtle. It smelled nice, but it was like, is it there? Is it not? Are you wearing something? And traditionally, that's been my vibe. Very subtle. Is it there? Is it you? Maybe it's her. Maybe it's Maybelline. But for some reason, well, actually, yeah, I know the reasons, but I didn't want that one either. So I was struggling to choose because I had an idea of what it should be like and what I should be attracted to. So I was going back and forth, back and forth. Do I want the newer one that I don't really want, or do I want the older one that I don't really want? And I was struggling. Now that I was struggling between being a version of myself that I have been and that I was comfortable being, but that I knew I was ready for more. And then being that version of myself that is more, and being scared of it, being scared to fully embody her and all that she brought. And I don't even think I consciously realized that in the moment, but I do remember making a conscious decision that I'm going with the one that I do like, even though it's scary for me to like it. So that's the one that I ended up choosing. Went through finishing the process. They mixed up my potion, bottled it up, and we got to name it. And the name had to be 9 characters. So I had to do some thinking here. But it brought me back to one of the earlier exercises that we did of narrowing down 3 feelings that we wanted to embody moving forward. And the 3 feelings that I personally landed on were aligned, unrestrained, and unmistakable. So as I was moving through this entire process, I had unmistakable in my head. But then when we got to the naming part of it, and they said it can only be 9 characters, of course, unmistakable was too many characters. So I put it in the thesaurus and was just looking at what came back. And the one that stuck out most to me was explicit. And y'all, I love this word because I was looking at explicit as if it was X-rated, bad, which it does have that connotation. And I was totally cool with that because, yeah, I'm a pleasure coach. I love a lot of explicit shit. It makes sense. But after the fact, I looked up the definition of the word, and explicit is an adjective and it means stated clearly and in detail, leaving no room for confusion or doubt, which then I aligned with in an entirely different way of yes, explicit is unmistakable. There is no doubt. There is no confusion. I am who I am and I am here. I am her. And that was pretty fucking cool. And after I looked up that definition, I also went back to the wall and looked up what my actual scent was. So it's called Hunter. It contains notes of vanilla, ambrette, which is like my name too, wild, and cedarwood. And the description of the scent is Hunter hits new heights with drive and ambition, sensual musk, and an overdose of raw vanilla. Hunter doesn't take no for an answer. The perfumer is Elias Hermendidis. He's created scents for Gucci, Oscar de la Renta, Valentino. So it's pretty cool. But then at the same time, I had no idea any of this. I was trusting myself throughout the entire process and listening to my inner voice, listening to my intuition, and listening to my pleasure, even though I was like, oh my God, why do I even like this? Even though I had some judgment for liking it. So, a lot of lessons from this experience, but my gut always knows. Even if I don't fully understand or comprehend, my subconscious does, the innermost version of me does. And when I drop down and listen to that, and I let go of the fear, I let go of the expectations, I let go of my ideas of how I think things should be or what I should be doing, I can hear it. And then everything makes sense eventually. But that was such a cool experience. And now I have this scent that I can wear and remind myself of this experience, of my embodiment, and that I am explicit. And another event that we went through or thing that we did is we were surprised with Hamilton tickets on Broadway. Like, oh my God, right? And I'd never seen Hamilton for, I don't know, some way, somehow. I completely compartmentalized from all the hype. I, of course, knew about it, of course, knew everybody loved it, even bought my parents tickets to go see it one year, but I never watched it myself. So I was utterly, utterly blown away and definitely feel like I should watch the movie. But a few things that I took from that experience, from that play, is so many. One of them, take your time. They said that the creator of Hamilton took almost 4 years to write one song. And he could have did something quick, went with one of his previous drafts and got it done sooner. But he allowed himself to go through the ebbs and flows of his creation, listen, and allow it to take as long as it needed to take. Another thing I learned is that I can tell stories however I want. It was so incredible to see Black faces, Black characters as every important historical figure. Every past president at that time, every well to do person in the story, whether they had money, talent, fame, historical success, all of these roles, protagonists and antagonists, played by people of color, putting their own spin on it, seeing how they operated in different environments, seeing how they responded to what was supposed to happen in the script. And then when they messed up and had to riff off each other and make it work anyway, it was so beautiful to see. And I definitely used to be caught up in truth and accuracy and making sure everything makes sense to everyone. But it doesn't have to. There are going to be people that flock to your message any way that you tell it, as well as there are going to be people that have a problem with it. It's very interesting to me to see this play and remember the pushback it got, the flack when it first came out, as well as in this time of recording right now, there's also been so much flack about Ariel being played by Halle Bailey, a mermaid being Black, and all of the flack that gets brought back up because of that. And it's like, it is a story, it is a message, especially with Ariel, it is fictional. You get to tell it however you want. And even with Hamilton, there are truths to the story, but it's not a true story. We don't exactly know what was happening. Some of the things, even the Schuyler sisters, they also had sons. It wasn't just them. There was more to the story historically than they put in the play. And knowing that it can be a phenomenal work of art simply because somebody decided to tell certain events in a different way. So I learned that I can tell any story, my story, other stories, historical accounts, in any way that I want. It gives so much freedom. Something else that I learned is when you're passionate about something, the ones that love you will be too. Passion transfers. And I'd like to even amend this because it's not just the people that love you that take up your fight and take up your passion. It's that passion is so contagious that even your enemies, so like Aaron Burr from the story, from the play, he started taking after Hamilton and his tenacity and his ability to fight for what he wants. He learned that from him because in the first act, his whole thing was like, smile and shut up. I'm forgetting the actual words he used, but yeah. Oh, yeah. It was smile more and talk less. Smile more and talk less. Be the person for everybody. But Hamilton was the one who stood his ground, who stood for what he really wanted. And when you think about that, it's very freeing to see that you being in your essence, you fighting for what you want, you pursuing what you want, you having that fire in your belly and sharing that fire, other people feel the heat and other people will add coals to it. You don't have to do it alone. Even after you're gone, other people will pick it up and keep it going simply because of how powerfully your passion burned. So yeah, for myself, I relearned, I should say, that it's safe for me to be passionate. It's safe for me to share that. And not only is it safe, but it's welcome, it's necessary, and it grows when I allow the world to see my passion. A few more lessons. Nothing is perfect. It's so cool to see a play because it's different every single time. things don't go the same. People may not always be in the right place. There may be outfit misfunctions. There may be things that get dropped or break, and it's still an incredible show. Again, it was the first time I saw it, but it seemed like when Jefferson and Hamilton were going at it, they might have been ad-libbing to a point, and Hamilton couldn't stop laughing. I think he missed a couple lines and like just couldn't get it together to like deliver his blow. So Jefferson kept going. And it was honestly just hilarious. And like you could see him hold back a smile, and you can kind of tell like that wasn't supposed to happen like that. But at the same time, it happened the exact way that it needed to. And it was perfect in and of itself. There was another time where someone dropped a glass on stage, and it, probably wasn't glass, it was plastic or whatever, but whatever, it broke. And of course, that wasn't supposed to happen. But the person who dropped it kept it pushing. She was supposed to be dancing on the other side of the stage. So she like did that. And somebody else who came and took her position, you could tell, changed his dance moves to pick up the pieces. And it all looked effortless. It all made sense, but it was one of those instances you can tell, oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen. But it brought me to sometimes other people clean up your messes. And that's okay. You don't always have to be the one looking over the mess that you made or the mistake that you made. You can charge it to the game and keep it pushing. And it doesn't just stay there. When you have people that are working with you, that celebrate you, that want to see you win because they know you winning means everybody winning, they pick it up, no sweat. They make it seamless. They make it a part of their routine and keep it pushing, which was also very freeing for me personally because I come from the background, or I guess I was taught that you always clean up your own messes. Don't leave anything there for anybody else to pick up. But sometimes we don't realize that we make a mess. Sometimes to keep our momentum going, we don't slow down, we don't stop. Sometimes we'll do more damage by trying to stop and correct a mistake than by continuing to move. So even when we continue to move, the mistake itself, the mess itself, washes away. And one of the last lessons I had written down from Hamilton was that you want to live into the legacy that you want to leave. So this isn't just how you wish that people would see you or not see you. It's not you hiding from your mistakes or misgivings, but it's you being the person that you see yourself as. It's you being the person you want people to remember you as. When you are busy being, you don't have to do any convincing. Such a good play. I'm definitely going to watch it again on Disney Plus. But another instance that we had was actually over 3 days. We went to the pole studio. And I don't know if I've told y'all before, but I actually took pole fitness classes for 2 years, back from probably like 2016 to 2018, and haven't touched a pole since. So like 4 years that I haven't. But being in that environment, being in that space again, brought up so much for me. It also made me realize that when I did pull the first time around, I fundamentally changed the relationship that I had with my body. It was easier for me, or became easy for me over time, to look at myself, to touch myself, to understand how my body works, to be able to see myself suck at something like a new trick and watch my progression and give myself grace as I learn something new. It took me out of a perfectionist mindset and brought me into a relationship with my body, an evolution of the way that I saw myself. And being back in that space, it was just another iteration of that connection. And we did different exercises. We had the mirrors completely covered, so we couldn't watch ourselves or judge ourselves. We could only be in the moment and feel. And there were so many impactful moments, but one of them was when we just put on some sad music and allowed ourselves to grieve with whatever came up. And there was this moment of just this like communal grief where we were crying, we were shaking, we were dancing, we were hugging, but we were all fully there and present in the moment of just allowing grief and sadness to be there, allowing things to come up that we wanted to let go, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, allowing ourselves to be seen, allowing ourselves to be witnessed, allowing ourselves to be nurtured and cared for. It was so, so beautiful. And I learned a few things about grief in that moment, but that grief is an energy, it's an emotion, it has a frequency, and it's best moved through in community. I don't know if I would have been able to do that by myself or have the breakthroughs that I did, and even looking at us collectively that we did if we were alone, and how supportive it was, how safe it was to cry and see others crying. Grief is a beautiful thing, and it often gets such a bad rap in our communities, in our societies, because it's seen as if you have grief, then something has gone wrong. But really, if you have grief, it just means that you've had life, that you've had love, and that things have changed, that you've had desires, you've had wants, you've had needs that didn't work out in the way that you wanted them to. Grief is unexpected, but so is most of life. So when we make room for it, especially in community, we can see the beauty of it and allow ourselves to keep moving through it. I also learned that, again, there is no right way. There is no perfect way. There is no wrong way. I'm allowed to let my body move in any way it wants. I'm allowed to listen to it when it asks things of me. There was a time when I was dancing where I just wanted to be on the floor. I wanted to let go of the pole. I wanted to roll around. I wanted to just be there. And there was something in me that stopped me and was like, no, you're in a pole class. You have to touch the pole. You have to be upright. You can't go down. And then when I stopped listening to that voice that told me how I had to behave and just did what my body wanted me to, I felt such a shift in me. And the thing was, everything is allowed. Everything. I wasn't paying attention to who was watching me, but I did feel like when I finally allowed myself to do what I wanted to do, I was commanding energy and attention and allowing myself to be witnessed which again felt so beautiful. And I also learned in this experience that performance is optional. I went into it thinking like, oh, I have some experience. I should know what I'm doing. I should like blah, blah, blah. Again, all these shoulds. But shoulding is another way of shaming ourselves. And when I let that go, when I let go of my need to perform for others or be good enough for others to want to look at, again, things changed within me. I wasn't doing it for anything or anyone else. I was dancing for myself, moving for myself, connecting with my body. And y'all, it changes things. It helps you learn how to hear yourself more instead of the noise that surrounds us and bombards us and blocks us from our inner knowing and our inner wisdom. When we stop performing, we can be at peace. And a couple other lessons I had is just that generosity is felt on both ends. Between this mastermind and the last one I attended, I've done so much better at being able to receive. Like I used to be like, oh my God, she's spending so much money on me. Look at the bill, look at the prices on the thing. Oh my gosh, how can I even sit here and accept this? I can't reciprocate it. And this time walking into it, oh my God, I was excited. I was like, I'm about to get the royal treatment all up and through these 3 days. Every and anything was taken care of. And I just allowed myself to be in the moment and receive. And how good it felt on my end for someone to be generous to me. It doesn't have to always be reciprocated. I can just allow myself to receive. And even hearing from my coach, Serena, how good it felt for her to give, how effortless it really was. And seeing that from that perspective, as well as when I don't receive, when I don't accept what someone is trying to give me from the goodness of their heart, something that I also genuinely want, I am tainting the experience not only for myself, but for the giving party as well. So generosity is a gift to the giver and the receiver, which leads me to abundance is everywhere. It really is, y'all. And to be in the mindset of abundance, even when you don't feel it. So, honesty moment. I have continued to invest in my business. I've continued to live the lifestyle I wanted to. And now I've been able to come into it. But for a while, I was scared about money. I was terrified. I was concerned about what was going to happen if my bills were going to be paid. And even going into this trip, I was like, oh my God, I cannot afford it. But being in this space, not only with Serena, but the other incredible women that were there, and embracing how they saw abundance, how they saw life, how they saw money, and accepting that for myself too, I didn't question it at all. I knew I would be taken care of. I knew it would come. I knew I had options and solutions to the point where I didn't even think about money. I let one of my cards decline and I was just like, here's another one. It will be there. And since it has come, but it really changed things for me because I feel like, and I know some of you out there are like, well, it's easy to feel abundant. It's easy to believe that stuff when you already have it. But the real key is believing when you don't is how you get it. Belief is the most important part of it. That abundance is in you, it's of you, and it's all around you. And when you're able to see the world in that way, you're able to create even more of it. Another thing I learned was that I don't have to fear deviating from the original plan. Just because things didn't go the way I thought they would, or they should, or even what I expected, I can pivot. And that pivot is okay. It doesn't mean something's gone wrong. It doesn't mean I've failed. It doesn't mean anything other than this isn't what I expected, but I get to choose to move forward anyway. I also always get to choose the energy that I embody. I'm able to pick a feeling, pick an energy, pick a vibration, align myself to it, and become it. Nothing has to happen first. The only thing is deciding that's who I want to be and then being it. This was an incredible trip and an incredible experience. There was even more that I learned that I will share with y'all over time, but I have been acclimating and integrating with myself from this experience. I've been taking the time to just give myself what I needed. After the trip, I went back to my family, spent some more time there, got a massage, had a Reiki session, and really just allowed myself to be in the moment, to be with this new iteration of myself, not leaving my old self behind, because, like I learned with the perfumes, you don't leave anything behind. Every version of ourselves, every iteration that we've ever been is always a part of us and one that we can choose to access whenever we see fit. And I'm learning more now how to choose the person I want to be and when I want to be them. You don't have to be the same person at all times in all situations. You get to decide as you see fit. And I'm learning that lesson all over again. And it's so, so, so beautiful. So thank y'all for sticking with me for my journeys and lessons that I had as I experienced this incredible mastermind with my master booze. And I just want to also reiterate the importance of having people in your corner, having a lush ecosystem of support, whether that be friends, family, therapists, coaches, doctors, chiropractors, dentists, whatever. You need to have people in your life that are for you, that root for you, and that rejuvenate you. Your coaches who you choose, actually any service provider who you choose, should be somebody that you actually like, somebody that you want to be around, not somebody that you want to emulate or be exactly like, but somebody that you can learn from and grow with and can be transparent with. And if you think that's me, or if you'd like to explore if that's me, I would love to connect with you. So go ahead, click the link in the show notes and book a consult, and let's talk. I would love, love, love to be in your corner. I would love to support you. I would love to stand in my authenticity and be generous with everything that I have to give to you. And I'd love to be your coach. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead, book a consult, and we'll talk soon. For everyone else, I love, love, love you as well. And I hope that we can connect on a deeper level. All the best, my friends. Talk soon. Hey, friends. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Pleasure Priority Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If it's your pleasure, check me out on Instagram at Amber Taylor Coaching and my website, www.ambertaylorcoaching.com, for more on increasing your pleasure across all aspects of life. As always, make sure to follow the show and check back each week for a new episode. I'd also love it if you'd leave an honest rating and review, and if you'd share the show with anyone else you think would benefit. Much love. Talk soon, friends.